Feel my toes, Wayne.
Oh, I love these early mornings. Whoa, Mike! I haven't even started the ventilation yet. We haven't checked out what's down there.
Oh, come on, what's a little stink? It's nothing.
I don't know.
Trust me, it's fine. You think I've lasted this long not knowing when it's safe and when it isn't?
At least let me put a line on you.
Will you stop? It's colder than hell out here. I want to get this done. Now, come on. Let's get going.
Fine, fine. If you think it's okay. Here, let me hand you a light. Are you okay, buddy? Mike, are you all right? Mike! Mike! Mike!
911 emergency.
Hello, 911?
Yes, sir. What is your emergency?
I have a man down in the manhole. He's passed out or something. He won't answer.
Sir, what is your location?
Fish Street and Mission, north. You have to hurry. He collapsed and he's not moving.
On the job, we deal with confined spaces all the time. If you enter a space without knowing what you're up against, you could be putting yourself in a deadly situation. The leading cause of death in confined space accidents is asphyxiation, or lack of oxygen. And 60% of those deaths happen to would-be rescuers, people who attempt a rescue without proper training. Wayne did the right thing. He kept the tragedy from multiplying. This scenario happens all too often, and it shouldn't happen at all. With proper training and by following the right procedures, confined space entry can be done safely. In this video, we're going to talk about the proper procedures and rescue techniques for permit-required confined space entry. What's considered a confined space? It's a space that's large enough to enter, has limited or restricted entries or exits, and isn't designed for continuous occupancy. OSHA goes on to further classify the space as a permit-required confined space. These spaces also contain hazards that you may or may not be able to see. These spaces are dangerous because they may contain hazards in the air or hazards that could engulf you, trap you, or cause you to slip or fall. Let's look at some of these dangers and how they affect you. Hazards involving the air or atmosphere can be asphyxiating, toxic, flammable, or explosive. An asphyxiating atmosphere is one that lacks enough oxygen to breathe. This occurs when the space contains less than 19.5% oxygen. Oxygen can be depleted for a number of reasons. For example, oxygen in the space may have been absorbed by a material, such as activated charcoal, or a chemical reaction, such as rusting. Or the tank or confined space may have been intentionally purged with an inert gas, such as nitrogen, to prevent explosions. Toxic atmospheres include gases, vapors, or fumes that have poisonous effects. The amount of oxygen present doesn't matter. The presence of toxic materials can still harm you. Some toxic atmospheres are immediately fatal, while others are less severe, causing dizziness or nausea. Some common toxic gases are carbon monoxide and hydrogen sulfide. Flammable or explosive atmospheres contain gases, vapors, or dusts in concentrations great enough to ignite or combust. Watch out for dust from combustible materials, vapors from solvents or fuels such as gasoline, toluene, or kerosene, or gases such as methane or acetylene. Mechanical hazards can occur if equipment, such as mixers or augers, aren't locked out. And physical hazards, such as falls, burns, exposure to high noise levels, or electrical hazards, may also cause injury. Engulfment occurs when someone is trapped by a dry bulk material, such as powdered cement, or grains, soil, or by a liquid. Engulfment causes asphyxiation by either inhaling the material and filling the respiratory system or compressing the chest, making breathing impossible. How do you protect yourself from these hazards? First, decide if the work can be performed without entering the space. Keep in mind that entry means any part of your body breaking the plane of the opening. Once you determine that entry is required to get the job done, take precautions and follow proper procedures before you enter the space, no matter how often you've been in it before. The most powerful tool for ensuring confined space safety is the permit system. The entry permit is a written document that identifies the people involved, potential hazards, and appropriate controls needed to safely enter the confined space. The permit should list all employees assigned to do the work and their specific tasks. It's also good practice to inform everyone in the area that confined space work is in progress in case there's an emergency. The permit should also identify the space to be worked in and the purpose for entry. Describe the actual and potential hazards and acceptable entry conditions. Outline the proper testing procedures to ensure that the space is safe. List the results of those tests. List the personal